Hey, what's going on everybody? Boilon here, and in today's video we're going to be doing an event math of Outlaw Encore, which is the Star-Lord Annihilation event that's going to be starting on Monday at 2 p.m. Pacific. Now, alongside this, I want to do a little bit of a recap of where we're at with the month-long event. I want to kind of go over a little bit of extra details of things that are upcoming as well and what to watch out for. So, if you're ready to find out exactly how you're going to get a 3 or 4 star free-to-play Star-Lord, then you know what to do, everybody. Let's boil this down. Now, first, before we get started, though, like I said, I want to do a recap of the month long. Now, this is where I'm at so far with Korg's Intergalactic Tour. So we're not that far along, but there's a lot of things that are coming up quick and that I want to really go over. Now, I haven't cleared the Family Bedrock event yet. I hope that I will. It's going to be a bit tight for me, but I haven't been doing a lot of course spending or a lot of blitzing. There's a lot of blitzing in this event, that's for sure, but no, I don't know. I haven't been doing as many things that kind of made me go out of my way to do things. I honestly just kind of ignored the tough crowds. No, that's over now. It literally just ended as I'm recording this event because it just hit 2 o'clock. So yeah, I am going to get there for Family Bedrock. I need to do a little bit more on War to get this, but we have an upcoming event that's a Pride event that will be giving you 40,000 points towards the month long, and I just want to be clear that this is not a addition. It's not a bonus event for the month long. It's actually a replacement event because we're not getting some of the alliance events that were supposed to happen this month. And I want to talk about that really quickly. So this is kind of the list of things so far. We're kind of down here. Now, there was supposed to be an alliance-based event called Trials and Tribulations, which is a Cosmic Crucible-based event, was supposed to start on June the 19th. Now, I have confirmed that, because it wasn't on the blog, but I just confirmed anyways with CM Archangel that this is gone. So this is no longer here. Now, in terms of what that would have been worth, though, you can see that the Spoils of War event, which was the war-based alliance event, was worth about 36,000. In the past, Trials and Tribulations was worth around 40,000, which, hey, surprise, surprise, is the exact same amount of points that Stand Proud Together, which is the event that's going to be starting next Thursday, is worth. So they've essentially just shifted things. So instead of it being the 40,000 that you might have got from a Crucible-based alliance event, now it's just this event, which is still pretty easy, and we'll talk about this later on in the week. But yeah, so I was thinking of actually skipping Family Bedrock altogether because I thought, hey, they were just adding on an event so that we would get bonus points for those of us, because they mentioned the Stone Cold drink from the Stone Cold Spiders event was a little bit too difficult, so I thought, hey, we're all just getting a little bit more points. But nope, that's not how things are flying. So now I need to make sure that I clear this event because otherwise that may cost me the overall 750k if I don't do this. So you really need to make sure that you're on top of everything, because missing one event or one event item is really going to cost you that 750k at the end. So currently this is where we're at. Outlaw Encore, this event right now, is worth a lot. So it's worth 660k, and I forgot, it's also the item as well, the merch box. I think it's the merch box, because I think Goat Boat Van is for the Thor event. So we're talking about 91,000 points. What is this called? Merch? Wow, fuck, it doesn't matter. Anyways, this event is worth 91,000 points. That's a lot. Stand Proud Together is worth 40,000. So this week we're talking about 150,000, because then there's 15.4 from the Quick Rumble, which on Friday, which is going to be for that Proud trade. That's, I guess, going to get released later on in the week because I don't see it right now. There's supposed to be an event called Intergalactic Merch Booth, which I think is due for next Monday, but this may also be canceled. And then we have Coordinated Assault on June the 27th. I don't know, maybe that's canceled too. The only thing that's left, because as you can see right now with all of the points that we've added in, we're at 657,000 total for what we know thus far. Now, that leaves us with 92,500, and yes, that's very far away from where I currently am standing at right now. It's just total with, this includes, of course, the web milestone daily over the course of the month, which obviously we don't have all of that yet either. So I imagine it might just be Thunderous Applause, Coordinated Assault, and Quick Rumble. This Intergalactic Merch Booth might have been canceled in favor of the Stand Proud Together event, because Thunderous Applause is going to be the Thor Infinity War event the following week. So that's that so far. Let's talk about the math, though, which is obviously really important for this. Now, get your butts prepared, everybody. This is going to be a blitz-heavy event. if you want to get lots of shards for Star-Lord. So this is all going to depend on what your goal is for this character. And luckily he is a 2-star unlock, which for better or for worse, is really going to help you decide how much you want to push. Because often these characters have been 3-star unlocks, especially behind, really heavy blitz events. So things like characters like Iron Fist, World War II, and Kang were both 100 shards. Even before that, I think a lot of them were also 100 shards as well. So the fact that they've at least made him a 2-star unlock means that, hey, if you don't want to go super blitz heavy on this event, that you don't necessarily have to. But we're going to go over what you're going to need to do if you want to do that yourself. Now, there's not much shards in this character's event and the actual milestone. It's mostly that you're going to be getting these orbs. And I forget the name of the Outlaw Encore, whatever the name of the actual orb is. We'll see that when we get to the image there of the table. It is 160,000 milestone points total. The event item, you only need to get to 57,000 points. But if you want to get 15 additional Star-Lord shards, then you're going to want to get to 64,000 at least. And by and large, this isn't actually that hard to get to. So luckily that this event, for the averageness of where we need to go, isn't super difficult. That was the wrong word. It doesn't matter. Anyways, so how many? There's 3 milestones. There's the main milestone. There's the web milestone, which includes spending campaign energy, and there's a 3rd milestone including power core spending. Okay, and so I have different scenarios set up depending on what you want to do. So for the web milestone, which is campaign energy, you can get about 24,000 orb fragments from this total. But this requires 6,000 daily points, which is equivalent to about 1,400 energy. Okay, sorry, 6,000 daily fragments, not points, doesn't matter. And you need to spend 1,400 energy to get there. Now, that's not normal. The normal amount of energy that you would get free to play typically is in the 1,100 range. Normally I have that listed on the chart as well, because I normally have the campaign energy chart listed for you about how everyone gets that free to play. It's about 1,100. If you do all of your time-based energies, your free refreshes, your 450 cores or packs or whatever, and then your 100 from the web, this all adds up to about 1,100 energy. Which is why I have this part here. This is basically like scenario 2. This is what I would call reasonable fragments. You spend 1,000 energy a day, and you get 16,000 total orb fragments, or about 4,000 a day, because there's 4 of these daily things. So it's a little bit less, obviously, than if you were to spend 1,400 energy, but that's going to require you to dip into your 100 core refreshes. While that will double into the core spending milestone, this isn't something that I would expect average players to necessarily do. And so speaking about the power core milestone, there's a lot of orb fragments in there, not going to lie. So you can get a total of 42,000 or 21 orbs from the power core spending milestone, and that requires you to spend 5,000 power cores total. This is a lot. Now, what's more reasonable, in my opinion, or scenario 2 for this, would be 18,000 orb fragments, which is a total of 1,300 cores spent over 4 days. That's just over 300 power cores, so a lot of this would include your regular campaign energy refreshes anyways, and maybe a 100 or whatever you want to do to use your power cores. I'm almost certain they're going to find some way for you to spend your power cores in the offers like they would normally do. Now, what I am thinking about, and this will be a topic of a separate video, but, they often have character orbs running simultaneously for these events. So right now, there is a Thor orb that is available currently, and this may still be available when the event goes live, but on Wednesday, because the Power Core event, the milestone, is not daily. It's just over the course of the 4 days. Very likely, we're going to get a Vol orb on Wednesday when the patch goes live, and so I'm actually considering unlocking Vol if she is a 2-star character. I didn't check the strike time yet, so I don't know if she's a 2-star or a 3-star character. I don't know if we know that or not. But if she's a 2-star character, I may actually spend enough power cores to get Vol unlocked early, and that way I can use my power cores towards the Star-Lord event to get more orb fragments and double dip that way. That's the best thing to do with your power cores, honestly. If there is a way that you can double dip the usage of your power cores for a character unlock and for a power core based milestone, that's the best bang for your buck, because I've done this in other events and that's really great. So if I can spend 5,000 power cores, now not everyone has that many, but for me personally, if I can spend 5,000 power cores on Vol and also double dip for this event, then it's 2 for 1, right? And so I really like being able to do that. Now, I've done this based on the reasonable amounts, so the sky blue colors. And if you do these kind of things, if you do 1,000 energy daily and 1,300 cores spent over the event, then these are the orb fragments left that you need to blitz for. 23,000 for the event item and 30,000 for the Star-Lord shards, which isn't actually that much. So you can break down exactly how many fragments that you'll get kind of per rotation. And now I've decided to do this. I need to change that. I've actually decided to do this based on 45 teams this time. I think we're at 47 or 48 teams now. So honestly, I think it's somewhat reasonable, especially for people who have unlocked everyone or more or less everyone, to be able to fulfill 45 Blitz teams. If you cannot, then obviously you'll have to scale back these numbers a little bit to meet your own. The average orb fragment per win is around 65. This could be a conservative number, and some people are going to ask me where I got that from, and honestly this was like an amalgamation of a lot of the previous events that I've kind of noticed. Now, the minimum drop for the Iron Fist event was 25 though, but this just wasn't likely. A lot of the average drops were anywhere from 50 to 100 and those kind of drops, and so it ends up averaging around about 65. So that's the number that I'm using for this. So 65 times 45 gives you a 2925 fragments basically per rotation. If you do this for 4 rotations a day or 8 rotations a day, these are the numbers. So almost 6 orbs at 4 rotations a day. And that is almost 12 orbs over 8 rotations. If you really are really good at Blitz, and you're not good at Blitz, if you really like to Blitz, then here you are, right? You could win more, of course, with RNG, because the way of the orb fragment drops work, you could get an orb, like a full orb. But, you know, that's pretty rare there. So I have a couple of different scenarios, and I have scenario 1, which is 4 rotations over 4 days, and scenario 2, which is the hardcore one, which is 8 rotations over 4 days, and these are the amount of fragments that you get. So 46,800 if you're doing 4 rotations a day, every day for 4 days, and this exceeds the amount of orb fragments that you need on these other 2 things up here for the event item and the Star-Lord shards. So if you do 3, you could probably do less. If you do everything that I mentioned above, you could probably get away with about 2 to 3 rotations a day and still get your event item. But if you want a reasonable amount of Star-Lord shards, then you'd probably want to do at least 4 rotations a day, and that'll give you about 23 and a bit orbs just from the blitzing part over the course of those 4 rotations. If you maximize and you do 8 rotations, you're going to get close to 47 orbs. Now we're going to add all of that up with the existing orb fragments that we've earned thus far, and I'm going to break that down into a couple of different scenarios. So reasonable milestone score, if you do scenario 1, which is this stuff here, plus the other stuff above, then you're looking at about 80,800 points. And this is almost to milestone 31. And just to be clear what milestone 31 actually is, which is actually decently far down here, my head's in the way at about 83,000, you get about the Elite 5 orb and stuff. So this is basically 4 away. There's 4 other milestones down below that. You get all of the Star-Lord shards, you get the event items, and a couple of other things, augmented Judas bullets and things like that if you're interested in that. Now, if you want to go further, how far can you get? And I just thought, like, what's the maximum? And I think this is the total maximum, give or take a little bit, and this is almost beating the milestone. Believe it or not, you can pretty much max it out if you win all of your Blitz rotations and you do 8 rotations a day. That's kind of crazy. It's actually, this is the closest we've come to being able to free-to-play clear an event for about 160,000 total milestone points. So that's this 93,600 plus the kind of the maximum range up here, these shaded orange, the 24 and the 42K from the other web milestones plus the maximum Blitz rotation. So yeah, it's a pretty crazy thing. Like, this is hardcore stuff. But the fact that you could almost free-to-play clear this and get everything done is, I would say, fairly impressive. Now, how many shards does that result in, though? And so basically, I've taken these 2 numbers of fragments, because keep in mind, these point scores are just raw fragments, because that's what they're converting it to. All the fragments get converted into points. So 80,000 fragments, 160,000 fragments. What does that really mean? Well, scenario 1, which is 112 plus 15, actually. So this includes the 15 shards from the milestones, plus 15. And then same with this is actually, I need to do plus 15. That you get just over a 3-star here for scenario 1, which is fine. And then for scenario 2, you actually get about 4.5 star. So this is pretty good. It's not quite a 5-star, but I would say it's what I would expect. You know, the way that things are landing these days in terms of expectations for shards, you know, if you push really hard, or in the events where you can push really hard, you know, you're expecting about a 4.5 star free to play. If you're some of those who does an average, you know, four rotations a day is still quite a bit, I would say, but you would expect about a 3.5 star here with all things considered. There's actually the 5, I forgot the 5 shards from the free claim, so you might actually have about like 132. If you pulled any additional shards for Star-Lord for whatever reason from his core orb or whatever for other past events, you might have a little bit more. I have 15, so I think I pulled like 1 orb for some reason, or I just decided to do it anyways, and I picked up a 10 drop. So hey, if you're one of those people who just kind of pull randomly, then there you are. So I'll have 15 plus this, so I'll be at like 142, and so it'll be about 3.5 stars. It's not going to be quite a 4-star, but we do know that kind of these characters do get like strike passes and RTA passes quite soon after the other characters come out, because like we're already on with some of these right now with like Gwenpool that's currently in the strike pass, so it's very likely that we won't be waiting very long to get additional shards for these characters to get them up to at least 4-star anyways. So don't think that you have to blitz hardcore to get this done, but if you are interested in it, then of course the option is there for you. If you want to push really hard, if you really like the character, wanting to get him to 4 or 5-star, you know, with some of the extra stuff that you might already have for him, then be my guest. Here's all the options for you. I'm going to be posting this, of course, in my Discord about 6 to 8 hours after the video goes live. And otherwise, until then, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you all later, and good luck on your blitzing for Star-Lord Annihilation. I'll see you on the next video.